So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the February 1st Friday webinar. Today's session is titled Making the Most of Attending and Not Attending the upcoming NWACUHO Annual Conference. I will be presenting today, so I'll introduce myself in a minute, but first we'll discuss kind of some housekeeping for the webinar. So please feel free to type any questions you have into the chat box throughout the presentation. I'll try and keep an eye on that. I'll also have a fair amount of time at the end of the session to check out those questions and to answer what I can. Before you log off, don't forget to fill out the First Friday webinar evaluation, which you can access via the link I will be posting in the chat at the end of the presentation materials. Also, we are always looking for new presenters for our First Friday webinar series, so please feel free to fill out that form and include that you'd be interested in presenting. That's at the bottom of the form, or you can send me an email, which I will also be putting in the chat. Finally, don't forget to keep yourselves muted throughout the duration of the webinar. Additionally, please feel free to activate your captions if you'd like them. I unfortunately am working off of two computers right now, so the captioning isn't working over the presentation, but if you'd like to turn on captions, those should work for yourselves. And that's it, it looks like. So thank you so much for coming, and without further delay, we'll get started. So I already introduced the presentation title, which is Making the Most of Attending and Not Attending the upcoming NWACUHO Annual Conference. My name is Chris Mann, and I am a Residence Life Coordinator at Mount Royal University in Calgary, Alberta. I am also the NWACUHO Professional Development Committee co-chair. I'll be putting in a plug for that a little bit later, and the other committees a little bit later within the presentation, so don't worry. And we'll just kind of jump in. Again, please feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation if they jump into your head, and that can be through the chat. Perfect. So I thought I would just go over kind of a breakdown of what today will look like a little bit. So this is really just a loose roadmap for the presentation, though. There's multiple subheadings that are missing, but just so everyone is aware kind of what we're going to be going over. We're going to be looking at what to do if you're attending the conference, what to do if you're not attending the conference, and then some different takeaways and question and answer period to answer as many questions as I can about the conference or about any kind of getting involved aspects of the conference. I know some of my colleagues and members of the board are also on here as well, and they'll all possibly be able to answer questions in that as well. I don't think the presentation will take that long, probably about a half an hour or so, but we do have the full hour if need be, and if there are a fair amount of questions, so please don't be afraid to ask questions, and I will answer what I can or compile answers to be sent out later. Excellent, yeah, that's it. So, this year's conference, are you going? So this year's conference, as most of you probably know, is in Bellevue, Washington, and it'll be spanning Monday the 17th to Wednesday the 19th, coming up in about just 2 weeks now, or just under that. I have listed the times here to show that these are a bit longer days, but filled with lots of opportunity, which we'll talk about throughout the presentation. The whole of the conference schedule can be found already on the Schedge app by searching NWACUHO on the upcoming events section. If you are not yet registered, registration is still open for the conference, and there are links and all the information both about Schedge and other kind of conference breakdowns on the NWACUHO.org/conference page. So please visit that if you haven't already. So we all know that conferences are an excellent opportunity to learn through scheduled sessions, but there is also so much more to the conference which you can take advantage of. And that's a lot of what we'll be talking about today within the attending section. So there's pre-conferences. The pre-conferences are the sessions I've listed at the top there. There's the SHO Summit, there's the University of Washington pre-conference, there's the Residence Life and Education Roundtable, and there's the Open Enrollment Roundtable, and I've listed the times underneath there as well. These are first come, first serve members of Northwest ACUHO attending the conference, and they will be excellent sessions that you can attend to kind of enhance that learning if you're able to be there. The times I've listed, those are on Monday. I realize I didn't put that in there, but those are on Monday. So those are first come, first serve, and they are filling up fast. So look for that sign up on the northwestacuho.org conference page. There is also both the case study competition and the Advancing Professionals Challenge. Both are excellent opportunities to take on a challenge and demonstrate your skills through a healthy competition with peers and colleagues. The sign up is usually at the registration table, and it is an awesome opportunity. I did that last year. It was a great opportunity to meet other colleagues from other institutions and states and provinces, and you're able to kind of get that learning throughout. And then get involved in the online community ahead of time. Northwest ACUHO has a fairly active Twitter handle, which Tiffany already plugged earlier in the chat, so thank you for that. And as well, there's lots of opportunity to get involved within the Schedule app to see who's going to different sessions. And so make sure you're kind of checking in on those things ahead of time, because those are awesome opportunities to find how you can get connected with people ahead of meeting them at the conference. So making connections. Remember, people at conferences do two things. They learn from others, and they network. They're already primed to meet new people, using such things as name tags to start conversations, talking to people about, are they presenting? What are they presenting on? Are they first-time attendees? Make sure if you're not a first-time attendee, or if you are a first-time attendee, welcome them. Talk about your experience. Talk about what you maybe love about the conference, or what you've learned so far throughout the conference. Ask them about their careers and institutions. These are all excellent opportunities to start conversations and make connections with people that you might not have worked with before and could possibly work with in the future. As well, bring your business cards. These are a great way to make connections and stay connected. Making sure you're learning from other institutions and programs is a great way to stay connected and see what other people are doing. And talking to people about how they're tackling common issues that you might be dealing with as well. Or tackling more specific issues if they're a similar type of institution, similar size. These are awesome opportunities to make sure that you're connecting with others and maintaining that connection. So these are some of my big takeaways: is bring your name tag, start those conversations, ask questions, and learn about other institutions, and remember your business cards. They will come in handy. So learn and engage. As I said on the last slide, people at conferences are there to learn as well as network, but the learning aspect is huge. Make sure you are learning and you're taking advantage of all the learning opportunities you can. Participate and take notes during presentations. Be engaged. Make sure you're figuring out what you want to learn from those sessions, and we'll talk about kind of session planning ahead of time. Divide and conquer sessions with other colleagues. If you have multiple colleagues who are going with you, make sure you're dividing and conquering those sessions. And that's a big part of taking notes and learning from what other people are providing you. It's an excellent opportunity to spread out and learn as much as you can and bring as much back to your institution as you possibly can. Pick the right sessions. I wanted to point out at the beginning that Schedule is there for a reason, and it's already up, so you can plan out those sessions ahead of time. It's an excellent opportunity to read up on what sessions are available when, and figure out what's going to be the most helpful for your institution. Pick the ones that will benefit you, and think of a variety. Variety is an excellent way to know that you're getting the most that you can out of the conference. Or if you're tackling a very specific issue within your institution, or you're looking to create a specific project, then go to those sessions as well. I know that there's a lot of specific sessions that kind of run along the same vein, and those can often scaffold and continue to help that learning throughout that process. So those are awesome opportunities as well. Also, it's a great thing to check with your supervisor or colleagues who aren't going to be attending the conference and ask them what they hope that you focus on. It really helps you and your institution to bring back ideas to the workplace. And we'll talk about that a bit more in the section where talking about people who might not be attending the conference. But make sure you're bringing that learning back, because that's the biggest point of going to something like this conference. The exhibitors. So there are many exhibitors that are going to be at the conference this year, and make sure you're checking on that and finding the list ahead of time. I think that's listed within the conference page on the northwestakuho.org website. That's a great opportunity to know who's going to be there and who you can talk to about different needs for your department or your institution. You can learn lots of new things from vendors, exhibitors, and just kind of what opportunities are out there. It's also one of these things that's not only for managers and higher ups to connect with. Maybe you aren't someone who has the purchasing power at your institution, but you never know when you might be called upon to look over a proposal, check in on something, or help out making larger decisions about what needs to be purchased for example, furniture or other things along those lines. It's awesome to make those connections with those services as well, and to know the options, because that's the biggest thing that you can get from exhibitors, is knowing those options and making sure to make those connections as well, because often those connections lead to working with people in the future that you can have a bit more trust in and make more of a connection with. You never know when it might come in handy. Connect and have fun. Get involved and have fun with this. Conferences are also a time for you to connect with colleagues outside of the office, often in a different city and in different social situations. Conferences can definitely be overwhelming sometimes, but it is a great personal development opportunity to try and step out of your comfort zone. There are so many ways to have fun at social events. The social events I've listed along the right side of the slide there, they provide much needed relaxation and fun during the conference, because there's lots of opportunity to learn, but there's also opportunity to let loose and make sure that you're connecting with people outside of just more of a learning setting. As well, get connected through connection-based sessions. I've listed those at the bottom of the right side of the slide, such as New to NWACUHO, the Affinity Social, NWACUHO Connections, state and provincial meet and greets, and there's many more and many others, and many kind of impromptu meetings that you'll have with people as well. These are great opportunities to meet others who often share similarities with yourself, or who could be mentors for you. Or they may work in similar locations and could answer some of the questions that you might have about different things that are specific to your area. For example, with the state and provincial meet and greets. And then ask questions, share worries, and provide insight. Because your shared experience with other professionals is one of the huge things that you can get from a conference like this. Almost everyone is in that same boat that you are, and so it's excellent to be able to kind of share what you're dealing with, what your department might be working on, different things, and figuring out kind of how other people have either tackled those issues or overcome that problem. And then make time for yourself. If you're flying in, maybe book some time outside of those flights, or have a little bit of extra time in the Bellevue area. This list has been provided by those who are from the Bellevue and Seattle areas, and that's on the left side of the slide there. Make some extra time to see the city, especially if you're not from that area. I know that being from Calgary and having never been down to Bellevue or Seattle, I'm going to make some extra time to make sure I'm seeing some of these amazing sites. And I know that it's a great opportunity for everyone to do that, even if they are in the area. It's also great self-care time. If you can find time outside of sessions and outside of that learning that you need to take time for yourself. I know many of these things are within a pretty close proximity to the hotel, and so find time to go to the Bellevue Botanical Garden or see different sites, and make sure you're taking the time for yourself that you need to have a great conference experience, to have a great Bellevue experience, and to make sure you're meeting and connecting with as many other colleagues as you can. So the conference, you're not going. There are still lots of possibilities for you to learn and participate too. So now we're getting to the part of the conference where you can make the most of not attending the conference. If you are going to the conference, this is still a great opportunity for you to pay attention and be aware of the tips that I'm giving your colleagues who may not be going. Remember, you are at a privilege. You're privileged to be able to go to the conference, especially with a lot of people in trying financial times. And so make the best of that opportunity and know how you can support your colleagues back at your institution who are unable to go. Live streams. So live streams are an excellent way to learn from the comfort of your desk chair. During the conference, there will be multiple sessions live streamed to help expand the membership, expand the learning that the membership is able to do outside of just those who are able to attend the conference. As I've been told, at least one session from each of the blocks should be live streamed throughout the conference. Those are to be determined right now, but these are the times of all of the session blocks that will be happening throughout the conference. And so one session from each of those blocks should be live streamed out to the membership. More information will be coming for that on the NWACUHO.org website, or will be sent out via email, but these are great opportunities to take on some learning, take a bit of time away from maybe your day-to-day activities and learn from the comfort of your desk. I know that these are also, once they're announced, you can speak to your colleagues who are going to the conference and tell them, oh, okay, I'm going to attend this live stream session, so maybe that's not the one that you should be going to, because we'll be able to take a look at that after. The other thing is, I'm not sure at this moment whether those will be recorded and posted to the NWACUHO YouTube page afterwards, but more information on that will come. So be aware that there are going to be some live stream sessions. Oh, and Michael says they should be posted afterwards. That's excellent. Okay, thanks, Michael. Yeah, so make sure you're attending those live streams. Those are awesome opportunities. Including being live streamed is the business meeting. So the business meeting will be live streamed as well on February 19th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. approximately. And I realize that I've been listing a lot of times, and those are all in Pacific Standard Time. So that'll be February 19th from 12 to 2 p.m. That is a great opportunity to know what's going on with the association and its membership. Oh, and Tiffany has just posted the business meeting agenda there as well. Yes, that is awesome to look over and check out beforehand to make sure you know what's going to be discussed throughout the business meeting as well. This is an excellent opportunity to take part in the business meeting, whether it's just viewing it or otherwise, and learn what business the association is doing, because association business is important to all members. So if you can attend, please do. We would very much appreciate it, and I think you would get a lot out of it. The stream link should be found at NWACUHO.org or sent out later on if it hasn't been already. So colleagues, do you have colleagues going to the conference? You can really lean on them to do a lot of learning in your place. You can have them choose their sessions and bring the most back to the institution. Help them with that. People who go to the conference go to help strengthen themselves and their institutional programs. Help them do that by helping them plan their sessions, seeing what could be of biggest benefit, and letting them know what you hope that they learn and ask about within those sessions. Those are great opportunities to be able to ask about what your colleagues are hoping to attend and figure out how you can do the most together. just as a side note, someone's vacuuming outside my door right now. So if you can hear that, I'm not sure. Just wanted to make note of that. Sorry. Going back to colleagues, these are great opportunities to talk to your colleagues about what sessions are available, maybe what projects you all are working on right now, and figure out how you can get the most from the folks that are going to the conference. You can also develop questions to ask them when they return, especially if you know that they're going to specific sessions. You can ask them to ask specific questions for you, and you can ask them specific questions when they return to your institution. It is an excellent opportunity for you to get secondary learning and information. So after the conference, whether you are attending or not attending, use the resources you have and gain professional development opportunities by joining the Northwest NWACUHO membership committees. I told you I was going to plug this a little bit later, and this is right now. So it is an excellent opportunity both to learn at the conference and learn from webinars, live streams, and what have you. But it is also an excellent opportunity to get consistent professional development after the conference by joining one of the membership driven committees. I've listed them here, and those are the Communications Committee, the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, the Membership Engagement Committee, and the Professional Development Committee. As I said, I am the Professional Development Committee co-chair, so I am biased in promoting the committees, but I know that they can provide you an excellent opportunity to learn and work with others that you wouldn't usually. You can find all that information on the Northwest NWACUHO site, which I think Tiffany just posted as well. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, these are excellent opportunities to gain consistent professional development throughout the year. So these were just some of the ideas that I gathered from previous presentations and from my own experience, but what are your ideas and some of the ways that you've been involved in previous conferences? Maybe I haven't covered certain things. Maybe I've completely missed something. I want to hear from you as well. And this is another part of learning about the conference that someone told me when they were reviewing this presentation. Conferences are about this sort of thing, about communal discussion and working off of others' ideas and things like that. So just because these are the things that I thought were the best for this presentation, that doesn't mean I've covered everything. So please feel free to post in the chat if you have any other ideas, or if your microphones are working, feel free to jump in right now. I'll give a bit of space. So I'll continue to kind of leave that question lingering a little bit to see if anyone has any other thoughts that maybe I haven't covered throughout the presentation here. As well, I just thought I would also leave space for questions. I know that there's often a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions last year attending my first Northwest NWACUHO conference, and I know that there are often a lot of questions to be asked and that you'd hope to have answered. So if you do have any questions as well, please feel free to post those in the chat over the next couple minutes. As well, I'd like to point out that you can send other questions to conference@northwestnacuho.org to follow up on some of those questions as well. So if there is any questions or any tips that other people have that maybe I haven't covered in this section, I'll give the next kind of 5 minutes to open the floor up for that. Yeah, Janie just posted. Thank you very much, Janie. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to participate in the Case Studies and Advancing Professionals Challenge. Those are great opportunities to meet others and work with people and have a bit of healthy competition, but also learning. I know that I learned a lot participating in the case study competition last year. Yes, that's also a great point. And thank you, Shelley, as well. It sounds like the case study is going to be really good this year. And then Janie also makes a really great point about if there are things that you haven't seen within the topics, within different kind of sessions and programs, going to roundtables is a great opportunity to share and talk to people about those opportunities. And some of those roundtables would be pre-conference, as I mentioned, and those are really good opportunities to go to the pre-conference sessions there. So make sure you sign up for those soon. Yes, that is an excellent point, which I didn't mention that there was going to be presenter ribbons on the name tags. So thank you, Tiffany, as well. There will be presenter ribbons on name tags. So make sure, or you'll be able to tell who's presenting and who's not. So talk to them. That's a really easy conversation starter. What topic are they doing, as Tiffany suggested? And maybe see if their presentation interests you above something else that maybe you were interested in going to, or whatever that may be. Connecting with people in that way is an awesome opportunity. And Tiffany also suggests talking to the presenter afterwards, and especially if you really liked the material, and introduce yourself to them and chat with them. Often, maybe presenters will be able to send you other material that they took from, or send you slides that had lots of good information on them. That's a great way to make that connection and kind of continue that learning, or take that learning back with you. And then Michael also posted the Schedule link, and I really appreciate that too. Thank you. Thank you all for participating and kind of adding those points. Well, with that, I think that's kind of all the tips and information that I have. But what I will do is I'll post the First Friday webinar link here. So if you have any feedback to give or anything along those lines, please do provide that. We really appreciate all the feedback that people provide. And if you do have any other questions, the conference@northwestakuho.org email address, is a great place to ask those questions. Or you can find a lot of really good information by going through the northwestakuho.org/conference page. And with that, I just really want to thank all of you for coming and participating in this. I hope that for those of you, especially if it's your first time attending the conference, that this is helpful information. And I hope that for anyone that's unable to attend the conference, you're still able to get a lot of really good learning out of the conference and from colleagues who might be going. And yeah, so thank you so much. And with that, we'll sign off. Thanks, everyone.